Namaste students. CBSE class 12th. So first chapter under unit number 1, review of Python programming and concepts of OOP. So we know that last year in class 11 we studied about something about the Python programming language. So we know that Python programming language, which is it uses interpreter instead of compiler. So when we come across the programming languages, evolution of programming languages, which includes POP, that means procedural oriented programming language, and then OOP, a lot of differences between POP and OOP. And under POP means procedural oriented programming language, and here which focuses on function instead of data. And here also in Python programming language, so last year what we studied, that is not, which are not belongs to, or which uh, belongs to the concept of POP, that means procedural oriented programming language. So here under procedural oriented programming language, which focuses on functions rather than data. But this year we have to study about concept of OOP. That means how we can follow procedural, object oriented programming language under this one, Python programming language. So Python programming language, which follows Python programming language follows OOP also, that means object oriented programming language. So how it works, so all those things that we have to study this year. And just move on to the, so what are the learning objectives under review of Python programming language. And here normally we know that it follows interactive mode and some concepts that we have to study this year, that's already studied in last year also in class 11. And here it is given that interactive mode and script mode and data types and functions in Python and sequential statements, selection statements, looping statements, string and string methods, list and list methods, tuple methods, and dictionary methods. Oh, these are all things we have to study. So we know that interactive mode is very important, that means which follows command line. So what meaning is interactive mode means which allows us to interact with operating system. So by providing the commands to the system, we'll get the immediate reaction or immediate response from the system. So that is interactive mode. And here next one is a script mode. So what do you mean by script mode? See, script mode is nothing but, so Python programming language allows us to write some set of statements. Just we can say it's a program. So it's a program, so that is called a script mode. And next we can run that program as a batch file. That means instead of executing individual commands, we can write set of commands and we can execute simultaneously. We can execute all the statements or a single program simultaneously. It is called as script mode. And next one is data types. So what are the types of data that we can use in Python programming language? So it's very important so that we know the types of data or data types. It's already explained in the last year, that is data types. Next one is functions in Python. See, last year we studied about functions also. There are some inbuilt functions and some modules and user defined functions. So many types of functions are there. So just we have to, this year we have to just take a brush up on all those things. And next, sequential statements. Actually, sequential statement is one of the structured programming concept statements. Sequential statements means execution of set of statements one by one, that is sequential statement. And second one is selection statement. So what do you mean by selection statement or selective statement? See, selective or selection statement means according to the condition. So we can implement some conditions, or we can put some conditions in our program, and according to condition, so what are the statements that we are giving, or according to the condition we have to select the particular statement. If given condition is true, we have to execute, or we have to run some set of instructions. If given statement is not true, if it is false, we have to go through some other set of instructions. So that is selective statements. Next one is looping statements. So last year we studied about looping statements means execution of same set of instructions again and again until the given conditions becomes false. That means we are going to, or we are executing same set of instructions. Looping is also called as iterative statements. Looping statements, or we can say iterative statements. It's okay. It's also one of the important statement that we have to study in Python programming language. And string methods. So what do you mean by string? String means it's a collection or a sequence of characters. String means a sequence of characters or sequence of some letters is also called as a string, and some methods or some here method means some functions based on string operations. That means based on string. So what are the methods that we can follow? Next, list and list methods. Actually, list means collection of elements. It may be a number, or it may be some other things also. It's also very important. And methods means, so what are the functions that we can operate on that particular list? And next, tuple or tuple methods. So what do you mean by tuple and tuple methods? So what are the tuple methods? So these are all also very important. And then dictionary and dictionary methods. Okay, so these are all learning objectives. I mean, this year's concept, that is a review of Python. Next, move on to the next clear things. So what are the introduction and all those things? See, we know that introduction is given here. We know that Python is a high level language. See, Python is a high level language. High level language, low level language is it's already explained in last class also, last year syllabus in class 11 CBSE. So high level language means it uses some English like statements. High level language means it uses some English like statements, and that English like statement can be understandable by the user, and it is quite difficult to understand by the machine. So let it be there. So that's why we need some interpreters. It may be interpreter or compiler, but Python uses interpreter. So that is very important. So Python is a high level language. And next, what do you mean by low level language? See, low level language means it uses some mnemonics like assembly level language, or we can say it may use some binary number system. That means 0 and 1. So each and every command can be, we can represent by using the patterns of 0 and 1. So that is low level. So next, so what are the requirements to the Python? So we need to Python interpreter install in our computer to write and run the Python program. So we need some Python interpreter. So just using editor, it's not possible to run the program. So we need some interpreter. We need some interpreter or any other compiler also. So Python uses interpreter instead of compiler. So we need interpreter to write the Python program or run the Python program. And Python is also considered as an interpreted language because Python programs are executed by an interpreter. So Python programs are executed by an interpreter. So it's very important thing. Next, Python shell can be used in two ways. Python core or shell can be used in two ways. That's already explained in last year and in this session also, interactive mode and script mode. So interactive mode means it uses some commands to interact with the operating system, so that is interactive mode. So each, that means we can run any instruction, that means line by line, by means of commands, that is interactive mode. That means individual statement can be executed here, and that is interactive mode. And next one is a script mode. So what do you mean by script mode? Script mode means we can write a program. We can write a program instead of executing the statement, instead of executing the statements, individual statement, we can run the whole program, that is script mode. And script mode is very important. I mean, this year also we have to write our programs using this one, script mode. And next, we'll move on to the interactive mode. So what do you mean by interactive mode? See, interactive mode, as the name suggests, allows us to interactive with operating system. And here, when we type Python statement, interpreter displays the result immediately. Suppose if you want to get the suppose if you want to print something, just we have to type print, and then we have to write some numbers, it's also allowed, or within double quotes we can write some comments also, or we can write some string or sentence which should be executed in our program. And this means when we write Python expression or statement command after the prompt, that means we have to use three greater than symbol. The Python immediately responds with the output of it. See here, it is given that welcome to Python programming. Print welcome to Python programming. Here welcome to Python programming should be displayed in our in the screen. That means immediate after this statement. And here we have to use the enter key, that is to uh, go to the, I mean, to check the output also. So what are the things that should be displayed, that should be enclosed within the double quotes, within a pair of double quotes? Here it is given that print welcome to Python program. Here welcome to Python program is a string that should be displayed, so it will display like this, welcome to Python program, as it is. And next example, it is to display some arithmetic operation, print 5 plus 10, so answer is 15. So directly we have to use, no need of double quotes. Double quotes indicates that we are using a string. Double quotes indicates that we are using a string, so that's why no need of double quotes, we need the value. So that's why directly we have to write the print 5 plus 10 equal to 15. And one more thing is, we can assign the value also. In first line it is given that x equal to 10, second line it is given that y equal to 20, and print x star y, that is to perform the multiplication operation. So answer is 200. Answer is 200. So it is given. Okay, these are about how to display something. So how to use the interactive mode. Next, move on to the script mode. So what do you mean by script mode? Script mode means writing a program in a file, then you are using the interpreter to execute the content of the file or execute the whole program. Working in interactive mode is convenient for beginners. It is very convenient for beginners for testing small piece of code, as one can test them immediately. But for coding of more than few lines, we should always save our code in a script, or we can say in a program. Here it is given that some example is given here. Input any two numbers to find quotient and remainder. Here code is given, and here it is given that a equal to input enter first number. So input, and then we have to use the parenthesis. Enter first number, that should be displayed. So we need double quotes. That means enter first number, that should be displayed. So that whole string that should be enclosed within the double quotes. And b equal to input enter the second number. quotient equal to, and print quotient, and immediate after quotient, displayed after quotient, that should be refer the value of a divided by b. So what happens is result of that particular two numbers quotient that will be displayed immediate after displaying the quotient. Next, print remainder. So here we need modulus operator to get the remainder. So modulus operator that is to be displayed, or we have to insert modulus operator between those two numbers or variables. And output is given, enter first number is 10 and enter second number is equal to 3, and here a divided by b, and its quotient is 3 and remainder is equal to 1. Okay, these are about script mode. So that we know that difference between interactive mode and script mode. Here interactive mode means we can execute a single command in a particular interaction, and in script mode we can run more than one command simultaneously that should be saved or that should be placed in a file, and then we are going to execute a file, an interpreter which executes the file. Okay, next one is variables and types. And here variable means actually it's a quantity. Variable is a quantity and it may change during execution of a value. So meaning is variable is just like a box. We can store some values in variables. We can store some values, and here we can say that variable is also called as objects, that is to capture the values or to store the values which can be manipulated by the computer or by an operator to provide information. And every variable or object has the following things: an identity, a type, a value. Here, what do you mean by an identity? See, identity of the object or identity of an object is its address in memory. That refers address in memory and does not get any change once it is created. So it is address. Suppose if you want to increment the value, for example, x equal to 10, 10 is a value, x its identity, its address something. So, for example, 1500. In case if you're going to increment the value of x equal to x plus 5, 10 plus 5 is equal to 15. That will be stored in separate address area. But with value of x only. So we can't increment the value of that particular address. So increment or decrement operation in the value which are stored in a particular address, it's not possible in Python programming language. Next one is a type. Type means actually it's a set of value, or we can say it's a data type. Type means data type. So what are the type of data that we can provide to the Python programming language? It is called as data type. And here data type that indicates so what are the allowed operation on those values. In case if you're going to take some strings and it's not possible to perform arithmetic operations on strings, but in Python program it is allowed. It is based on the some coding standard values of that Python programming or that particular character. See, we know that according to ASCII characters or ASCII coding standard, value of a is equal to 65. So what happens is, in case if you're going to perform operations, arithmetic operations on strings, so what happens is it performs some operation, but answer is not needed to be the proper. So it's about type. So every object has an identity, means address location, and a type, it may be a data type, and then a value. For example, x equal to 10. So that indicates the value of x. So that is different. Okay, next we'll move on to the next point. So what are the data types? See, data type, it is given that it's very important in Python programming language. So what are the data types? Here data types In broadly, we can classify into two types. One is numeric data types and other one is non-numeric data types. Let it be there. But here, numeric and non-numeric is not there. So instead of that, data types are categorized like or classified like numbers, and then none, sequences, and then sets, and then mapping. Here under numbers, it is given that integer, floating point, and complex numbers, integer, floating point, or real numbers, and then complex. So under integer data type, it is also recategorized or classified as Boolean. Boolean, we know that it stores only binary values, either 0 or 1, or true or false, like this. And the next one is none. None indicates normally absence of value. Absence of value. If value is not there, so automatically 0 cannot be implemented as none. So none indicates absence of value. So that is enough for our definition of none. Next one is under sequences, and another data type is sequences. And sequences is given that strings, tuple, and list. String, tuple, and list, it is a sequence. String means collection of characters or sequence of characters. Tuple means it's a collection of set of values, and list, it's also collection of set of values. Difference between is someone is mutable and other one is immutable, that we will discuss later. It's already explained in last year's syllabus also. Next data type is sets. Sets means collection of elements. And then mapping. Under mapping, it is given that dictionary. Under mapping, it is given that dictionary. Okay, so we'll move on to the next thing, numbers. Actually, number data type uses or stores numeric values. This data type is immutable. Immutable means we can't change the things, we can't change the value. Numbers are three different types: integer and long. That means actually it uses only full number, whole number, without fractional part. So integer is there, and integer and long almost the same. The thing is, long is used to hold or used to store the big number. Big number means actually some range is there for integer number system. We have some range, we can store some range of values in integer. And next version of integer is long. Long also without fractional part, integer also without fractional part. So integers, its next version is long, so it is to store the whole number. And decimal, whole number means decimal digits without fractional part or without fraction part, so it is called as integer. Next one is float or floating point. It's also called as real number. Actually, float or floating point, which is used to store number with it may store whole numbers and decimal fraction also. So decimal fraction also allowed here. That is a float or floating point number. Next one is complex, that we studied in this last year also. Complex means it stores real number and imaginary part, like a plus ib. A plus ib, here I means square root of minus 1, square root of minus 1. So such number or the combination of such numbers is called as complex numbers. Next data type is none. This is a special data type with a single value. This is a special data type with a single value. It is used to signify the absence of value or false in situation. Absence of value, false in situation. And it is represented by none. So by simple words we can say that none is used to represent absence of value. Next one is third one, that is another data type, sequence. Sequence is an ordered collection of items indexed by positive integers. It is a combination of mutable and immutable data types. Mutable means we can change the content. Immutable means it's not possible to change the content. So mutable and immutable. And there are three types of sequences or data types available in Python. There are strings, lists, and tuples. Strings, lists, and tuples. So, what do you mean by string? A string is an ordered sequence of letters or characters. They are enclosed within the single quotes or parentheses or enclosed within the single quotes. Or we can use double quotes also. That should be enclosed within the double quotes. Actually, these quotes are not part of a string. These double quotes are not part of string. It's already given in the previous example. See here, uh, a equal to input enter first number within double quotes. It's explained, and double quotes is not part of that particular string, so it will display enter the number only. And they only tell the computer about where the string constant begins and ends. So when where the computer will, I mean that particular string will start and that will be ended. They can have any character or sign including space in them. So we can include any character. So character, any character set, like it may include digits, special characters, any alphabets like uppercase and lowercase, etc. These are immutable. Strings are immutable. That means we can't change the contents. A string with length 1 represents a character. Length 1 string is called a character in Python. So string means it's a sequence of character. A string with single character, string with a single letter is called as a character in Python. So character means it uses single length or one length 1. A string with length 1 represents a character, or it is also called as character. Next one is a list. See, lists are sequence of values of any type. Values in the lists are elements or items. These are all mutable one. Mutable one. So we can change the contents of a list. List is enclosed in square brackets. List is enclosed in square bracket. That means we can use a square bracket to represent a list. It's already explained in the last year also. It's very important. List. It is mutable one. And next one is tuples. Here tuples are sequence of values of any type. Tuples are sequence of values of any type are indexed by integers. They are immutable. Tuples are enclosed in parentheses. Tuples are enclosed in parentheses. Okay, these are tuples. So strings, lists, and tuples. See here, strings and tuples are immutable one or immutable things. Strings and tuples are immutable, and lists are mutable. So we can change the contents of lists. Next data type is sets. Set is unordered collection of values of any type. Unordered collection with no duplicate entry. It is immutable. So without duplicate entry or without duplication, it is immutable. That means we can't change the contents. Fifth one is mapping. This data type is unordered and mutable. Mapping is mutable. Just like lists, these are mutable. Dictionaries fall under this mapping. So what do you mean by dictionary? It can store any number of Python objects, and here dictionaries use pair of key and value. So whenever you are going to list the items or elements or objects of that particular dictionaries, we need to specify each value with its key. Key and value should be specified. So key value pairs which are accessed using key value. So dictionary is enclosed in curly braces. That means flower parenthesis. So Dictionary is enclosed in curly brackets. Okay, these are about dictionaries. Next one is values. So far we know that it is a third one, so we already studied about that one. Values. So values, that indicates the value. So according to any object, it includes three things. An identity means its address, variable address, and a type, that indicates data type, and third one is value. See, value is any number or letter or string. To bind value to a variable, we use assignment operator, equal operator. So what do you mean by equal operator? See, normally it uses right to left associativity. That means which copies the value in right hand side, that will be assigned to the left hand side. So value can be assigned right to left. A equal to 10 means 10 will be assigned to value A. For example, we have sequence of some or we can say some instruction or program segment. A equal to 10, B equal to 20, A equal to B means value of B that will be assigned to A. So afterwards, after execution of that statement A equal to B, A value that will be equal to 20. Okay, these are about values. So we studied all those things about identity of an object and its data type, and then we studied about values. Okay, that's it for today, and I'll give worksheet along with this particular video link. Go through that worksheet, and that should be submitted properly in time.